And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it is the 22nd. I know it's July. And as always, we got serious talk on everything that affects you, your life, your money, your job, your industry. We'll do the markets. We'll do the economy and your job and your industry. We'll do Washington, D.C. and the Morlocks there. You can go look that up. War. Again, tariffs. Again, trade wars. I'll explain that also. And much more. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we shall post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. Go follow us on X. Just put our name in. If you'd like to email us, just be nice. Just be respectful. We'll be nice and respectful back, unless you like Hamas or you're a racist and all that crap. And that's that. Just so you know, we are waiting on Google. We don't call it Alphabet. We don't know why they changed the name. I believe IBM, they warned in advance, so we'll see if they come up with something better. Tesla, I believe, is reporting also, right? ServiceNow is reporting. Las Vegas Sands, CSX, if any of them report, we shall let you know. And we'll kind of, if they report, we'll, these things move like there's no tomorrow. Texas Instruments, did I mention that one? They're reporting also. So a bunch of jello going to be moving on the plate. But I got to tell you, there's a couple of things we want to convey to you today. We call them sore thumbs. And we're being, what I would say, on the repetitive side, because we don't know if everybody listens every day, even though you should. And we pride ourselves here when dealing with the markets, what you should avoid. And there's a couple of standouts, big standouts. Make that maybe 3 standouts over the last year that, wow. You never know when a disaster is going to hit. But you just try to put 2 and 2 together, and you also want to follow what we call the roadmap. Assume we know what a bull market and a bear market looks like. Just assume. And you'll have an understanding where we're coming from. Just assume. I have to start with SpaceX. Because SpaceX today was down $8.34 to $115.12. SpaceX. And we warned you. We didn't tell you what to do. All we simply did here, it was so simple. Ask the question, would you pay $1.77 trillion with a T dollars for a company with $18 billion in revenues, loses $5 billion a year, net cash flow negative, and did a $25 $25 billion bond offering, and sends rockets up in the air, and we just had a Blue Origin rocket blow up. Would you buy that company outright? The other part of the equation, we said to you on this show, just on valuations. If this company was just selling pipes, the IPO would be $10, $15. And I got people emailing me, not pissed off, but thinking I was doing something I always complain about, and that is we're never thrilled with people who call crashes. We're never thrilled with people that say 1.5 million Bitcoin by 2030. So the thought process, we were sending something out there that was outrageous, but we weren't. We were just doing normal valuation measures. Price to sales. It should never be at 100. It should be like 5. Now, as we said since day one, we have no edge. We didn't have any edge because it was too new. No patterns. The only thing we could do here is just say to you whether it goes up or down, valuation. And also the other part, the big other part. Almost every initial public offering that they came out with in the last year or two that opened hot crumbled because they brought them out at ridiculous prices. So there was precedent. But still, the $135 deal opened at $150 and within a couple of days was $226. And as it was going up, we said the same thing as it was going down. And that is, we don't have an edge. It hasn't been public long enough. But valuations. Valuations. Ask yourself that question. And I must tell you, I'm surprised. Now, we finally had an edge. We said to you, well, it opened up at $150. If it breaks below $150, that means everybody who bought in the aftermarket is losing money, and that should invite selling. Why? It was just 226, and people are thinking something's not right. And since they were hyped and touted by it by a bunch of people, it'll invite selling. And guess what it did? What was our second edge? If it broke the initial public offering price of $135, that would really invite selling. Well, again, it closed at $114. It's in the aftermarket now, $114.70, down $8.86, and it's still trading at like 1.5 trillion market cap. So we've gotten a lot of emails from people thanking. I had people call me on the phone thanking me. One person called me and said, saved $450,000 listening to me on SpaceX. I guess they bought a lot. I said, dinner on you. These are the type of things we pride ourselves on. Because I must tell you, after SpaceX came public, we're watching people on TV, and they try to put you in a lather. Not thinking of anything about what could go wrong. Valuations. And then there's the analysts. May we do what we did twice, a third time? Once the quiet period was over, analysts can come out with their thoughts. Here we go. These are all initiations. The first recommendation. Buy, outperform, buy, buy, overweight, outperform, buy, overweight, outperform, strong buy, outperform, overweight. There were no sells. There was one neutral, whatever neutral means. And why do all the analysts have buy recommendations on it? Beats the hell out of me. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on that and then head to the others. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, let me tell you what happens with SpaceX now. You ready? I don't know. But selling tends to feed on itself. That's number one. And number two, it's still ridiculous valuation. It's still ridiculous. No sense whatsoever. And this is coming from me who says I think they have a fabulous future. Fabulous future. But we deal in the current. And as we said, we thought they brought it out at a frickin' ridiculous price. They were able to, based on hype, based on touting, based on shouting, based on Elon Musk. And they did it. Next, Bitcoin. Just technically, November 4th of last year, we called the top. And it's down, I think, right now about 47, 48% from the highs, and it's off the lows. I believe one moment a few months back we said it was trying, but then it just rolled over bad. Ethereum is worse. There's a lot of coins that are down 90%. Some are at zero. Again, we hope you listen. We do the crypto just based on a technical basis. Recently, we have said to you that the good news is it stopped going down. But that's all we've said. That's the good news. For the last, 6 weeks, it's held lows and it's trying. But that's all we can tell you. We loathe the clowns. It's going to be 1.5 million 2030. Imagine saying, by the way, they called that when it was 100,000. Imagine telling people, yeah, it's going to be up 15-fold within 4 years. I cannot tell you how asinine, ass-10, and ass-11 that is. And they get credibility. That amazing part about that somebody has the grapefruits to talk, it's going to be 15-fold. Amazing. And they're still out there, even though now, to get there, it'd have to go up like 24-fold, 25-fold in less than 4 years. They're clowns. And unfortunately, one of them manages trillions of bucks and is still down 50% from 2021. We're going to leave names out. I can't tell you how much that pisses me off because somebody out there listens to that. Anyway, whatever. So that's the Bitcoin. And then the last part of the equation. Wow. And this one has us really surprised. You know when we say to you, when something bottoms or tops, starts an uptrend, starts a downtrend, we always say to you, well, we think this hit a low or this is breaking out of range. What's our next line always? We don't know how far it goes or how long it lasts because we don't. When somebody gives you out a target, you watch somebody on TV and they give you out a target, they're full of crap. They're full of crap. They don't know. My favorites are the one where they say, well, we think the Dow is going to rally for the next 2 months and then drop for 4 months, but then at the end of the whatever. So, software stocks. unreal. We'll start off with Microsoft, because in August it hit 555 on an earnings report, closed that day at like 530, dropped to 492 in August of last year, rallied up to 553 on the next earnings report, and completely sold down. That was Microsoft. Oracle gapped up on their earnings reports from 240 to 345. And the announcement was what was happening with artificial intelligence and this, that, and the other thing. And then never saw the light of day afterwards. We owned some Oracle and sold it at $303. It was somewhere in October of last year. I'm not sure the exact date, but we sold it at $303. We did not make any money on the trade at the time. We got worried about software as a whole and its trading. There were already names that had topped out a while before that, like ServiceNow, like HubSpot, like Workday. They were already in bearish phases. But little did we know, because Oracle in late October topped, a few days later broke the 50-day, and for lack of a better word, crashed. Going from 345 to 135 in 6 months, that's a crash, right? Microsoft went from 553 to 356 in a few months. It's like a crash. And we had no idea except to say, you probably want to avoid software stocks, because so many of them were just getting pelted. And of course, the one that's been touted the most, Palantir, has gone from 207 to now 124. But what I want to bring up is, recently, they bounced. And they've crashed them again. You had a couple of day moment where they ramped, and they've crashed them again. And we're letting you know, they are worsening by the day into new yearly lows. And we had mentioned to you, by the way, software security strong, and a couple other names strong. Guess what's happened to them? They're now coming in hard. Recently, we saw some strength. You probably never heard of JFrog. It's broke down badly in the last week. How about Twilio? Broke down badly in the last week. And now they're coming after some of the real strong ones. Software. Continue to avoid. We'll put a bow tie on that next, and then we'll have the aftermarket. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So anyway, just those three. And of course, recently we warned you about the artificial intelligence and semiconductor area. And jury's still out. I will tell you there was some better action in some semis today, but did not finish well. But the AI area, ew, that's not acting too well. We'll see. We'll see. Aftermarket. You ready? IBM. So IBM lowered their numbers recently. What was it, about 7 days ago? The stock closed the day before at 290 and closed the next day at 217. And since has dropped to 205. They actually missed on their lowered numbers. IBM misses by 2 cents and misses on revenues. That's from their lowered numbers. But the stock's up $5 in the aftermarket. It's a 210. And I think that just has to do with it's already been blasted. That's amazing. I'm going to have to look over those numbers in a little bit. So that's IBM. Google. So number one on the hit parade, Google was down $5 today and has been acting poorly the last few weeks, actually the last 6 or 7 weeks. It was acting really well in early May and then topped out, and it's below the 50, whatever. It was down $5 today. It's up $2 in the aftermarket. So it's down $3 for the day. I must tell you, the initial thing, it was down 11 in the aftermarket. Then it was up 6 in the aftermarket. As I speak, it is up a little more than $2 in the aftermarket. So not a lot of big movement out of that, but under pressure. Tesla, the numbers sucked and is down $13 in the aftermarket, down to $361. Tesla was $433 3 weeks ago. It's $361 in the aftermarket, and Tesla's numbers, I love doing this. I feel like I'm roving reporter. Missed by 20 cents. Gross margin was down. They did 33 cents a share. Expectations was 53. I'll go through the numbers later, but the initial reaction, not good in Tesla. Next, ServiceNow. And again, this stock has been blasted, and it was down $7 today. It's up $6 in the aftermarket. So it's flat on the day. But ServiceNow has gone from a high of 240, it's 101 as I speak, and 240 was in March of 25, which is a big wow. And by the way, that's software, and that's part of the carnage as of recent. Texas Instruments, I got it down $9 in the aftermarket. Semiconductor, that's held up pretty well versus others. But yeah, down $10 in the aftermarket right now, which means analog devices will be only down about $3. Las Vegas Sands, very classic bear market, riding the rails of a bear market, classic. Close at 45, I got it at 42, remains in a bear market. Hey, sorry, I'm just reporting the news to you kids. CSX, the rails have been strong. I got it up $2 in the aftermarket to 51.75. Remains strong. Look at that. So I gave you a good one. How about, Molina Health. This is one of those managed care stocks that have been better, but this one's down. I'm showing down $18 in the aftermarket, down to 203. Raymond James, I can't tell. Big spread. SEI Corp, that looks flat. And that's kind of it for the aftermarket of importance, ladies and gentlemen. And that's your story of the day. By the way, Google's dropping a little bit more. It's now showing down $7 for the day. So it's down 2 in the aftermarket, but it's just moving all over the map. Today, the Dow was down 6, but the NASDAQ was down 146, and the NASDAQ 100 down 157. Software was the culprit, because the SOX was up 54, but the SOX at one time was up. First off, it was down big early and then reversed. And at the high today, well, let me give you that, if I can find it. The SOX today hit a high of 12,525. It was up about 180, finished up 54, but early in the day it was 12,113. It was down 250. But as we said yesterday, the semis feel like and look like you had a washout, what we call double bottom. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Did not finish great today. But I am seeing a little bit of bid in the aftermarket. We'll see how it goes. SanDisk finished up only 6. No, finished up 10 today, but I got it up 24 in the aftermarket. So maybe something's going on there. Seagate today finished up 16. I got to get this right. My bad. It's got spread. Anyway, Seagate finished up about 18. Western Digital finished up about 8 and is up, both up in the aftermarket. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Of note, oil prices up another $2. The 10-year yield up almost 0.3 to 4.657. And what do we tell you about oil prices and yields? We do not want to see them go higher. It's a 1-2 punch on the consumer. It's a 1-2 punch on the consumer. Oh, one other note on earnings. GE Vernova, what we call an important supposed AI stock, they reported earnings and missed, and guess what? Down $94 to $985, or about almost 9%. So that's not great news. Just letting you know. Is up $7 in the aftermarket, though, because these things are insane. I don't see any news that would cause that, but and I don't see any news that has SanDisk moving up nicely in the aftermarket, but welcome to our world of crazy. So we just wanted to start out today because, wow, there's some sore thumbs out there. And we're really surprised. Just so you know, these investment bankers that do the underwritings for the initial public offerings, their job is to stabilize these stocks. But they screwed up badly with SpaceX. That's just a big, gigantic, greedy screw-up. You know what the problem is, though? People willing to pay the price. But they should not have brought it out at that level. No way. We told you. Ridiculous. What do we say? If I gave you a $1 bill, would you give me $10? Hell no. If you walked into a Toyota car dealership, would you buy a Toyota Highlander and pay the price of a Bentley? Hell no. Well, guess what they did with this SpaceX initial public offering? Just that. And you know what? They have other big IPOs to come out. That's going to be a tougher sell. Anthropic, tougher sell. OpenAI, by the way, OpenAI, their sales are so much less than they expected, I can't even begin to tell you. And they're going to try to do an IPO. At least that's what I hear. So that's a little bit of that as we go into tomorrow. And I will tell you tomorrow, Blackstone, Honeywell in the Dow, United Rentals, Union Pacific, Tractor Supply, which has been a brutal bear market. How about STM Microelectronics, Nokia, Norfolk Southern, Comcast, Ameriprise. After the close tomorrow, Intel, SAP, which, by the way, software, new yearly low. So a little rough going, ladies and gentlemen. Up next. Anything going on in the world? This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Well, United Rentals was supposed to report after the close tomorrow. They just reported it's up $100 in the aftermarket. About 9%. That's a good one. How's that? They beat by a mile. And I think they gapped it up last time. And Southwest Airlines reported they missed the numbers and is down a little bit. Didn't see that one. So there's a little bit more that is going on. Anything going on news driven? Nothing great to report. As you know, the president put 50% tariffs on Canada. Canada just gave them the middle finger and is doing some stuff on us. I don't, I'm not even going to mention. I don't know. I feel like this president wakes up and gets bored and decide I'm just going to put a tariff on. Which only hurts you and I. I just want you to remember what a tariff is. It's a tax on imports that come in here that are paid by the company who has a choice to push it on to the consumer or the buyer. A 50%. They did it on cement. He did it on cement, furniture, and some other crap. It's sheer stupidity and insanity. And I can tell you how depressing it is just because they got to kiss his butt, how many conservative politicians and conservative pundits are out there. Yeah, the tariffs, it did this. They are taxes on you and I. Case closed. That's all they are. Taxes on you and I. And in case you don't know, the tariffs killed the farmers. And what did the president do? He paid them off with our tax dollars. The socialist that he is. That's socialism, by the way, any way you cut it. So I don't know. I'd love to sit down with the president and explain things to him, but he would laugh me off anyhow. Life is simple. As president, low taxes, less regulations, strong border, strong defense. Get the hell out of the way. There's not much you have to do because there's 150 million of us that wake up every day wanting to do better for ourselves and our family. We've had tremendous technological breakthroughs and medical advancements where productivity gains are fabulous. We're doing a fabulous job. They just get in our freaking way. And unfortunately, this president just doesn't stop. Every day it is something, and something. Wakes up, tariffs on Canada. By the way, just so you know, I don't think these tariffs are the biggest of deals because you can get cement from other places. Right? You can get furniture elsewhere, right? But it's just the point that it taxes any way you cut it. And he said it's the greatest word in the dictionary. What else? The yuts running New York City wanted to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, the man who runs Israel, but has no interest in arresting Vladimir Putin or the guy Maduro that's in jail here now. Just letting you know. We have a Jew hater running New York City that, by the way, a lot of Jews voted for the Jew hater. He's also invited terror lovers, people that say we deserve 9/11, into the mansion there. I'm not making this up. It's heartbreaking. And by the way, as a Jew, I have smelled people like this coming from miles away. Just letting you know. What else going on? I'm reading this. And it looks like I can confirm it. The Oregon governor signed a bill that removes the requirements for students to demonstrate proficiency in reading, writing, and math for high school graduation. What an ass clown. The reasoning is racism. That's the reasoning. That certain parts of the citizenry are not smart enough. In other words, the Oregon governor is an ass clown. She's saying blacks are stupid. That's what she's saying. So we're going to lower requirements in order for them to pass because they're stupid. That's what she's saying. I got news for her. They're all smarter than her. Unbelievable. And I had to do a double take on this. This is certainly going to help graduation rates. It ain't going to help them when they go out into the world, though. And guess what? It's the real world that matters. You live in Oregon, you may want to go visit the governor and ask her what the hell's going on. You'll have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well, be well. Have a great one. Good night.